The batting average on movies like this is not good, but I can't help myself from hoping for the best every single time I'm in the theater for a new action film. So in Shelter, Jason Statham plays a recluse on a Scottish island who's routinely brought supplies by this guy and his niece. A storm hits during one of the supply runs and their boat goes down. Statham has to go save the girl, but this really risks compromising the low profile he's been trying to keep. I saw zero marketing for this movie, so I technically had no idea where it was going to go, but Jason Statham was on my screen. So I felt pretty confident that violence was going to break out at some point in the movie, but I was really wondering how that was going to happen for the first 20 to 25 minutes as he's on this island with this girl helping nurse her back to health after her accident, and their relationship is slowly evolving and you're learning bits and pieces about this guy and how he operates, but there's really no antagonistic force at all for a while. There's no threat looming in the background. It's just these two getting to know each other a little bit. And I was thinking maybe this one was going to have a different vibe from the other movies like this. On a secluded, dreary Scottish island, I could see how that would be really cool. The second it cuts to a political setting with like these stern British people sitting around a big table, I just inwardly groaned. I was like, that's how they're going to get the plot going. And yeah, from there you have some Bourne-esque thriller where some government bureaucracy BS has led to the powers that be needing Jason Statham's character to be eliminated after he emerges from hiding. Every time the action picks up, I was having a good time. These scenes are pretty competently helmed, and Jason Statham is in these movies for a reason. He's become the go-to guy for these tough guy action B movies because he does it so well. There's this undeniable cold-blooded toughness that he brings to these roles, and he sells them in a way that I don't think many other actors could. It doesn't necessarily lead to a lot of range in his performances, but he does this guy really well. There's a car chase that feels actually kind of real, where the damage that the cars are sustaining feels pretty realistic, and they're not doing any crazy flips and doing anything that totally strained my credibility. And that's something I appreciated in general about the movie, is that the injuries that the people take as well are fairly realistic. People go down and stop fighting about when you expect them to. It's not like anyone takes 8 bullets and keeps going or anything like that. I felt that in the grand scheme of action films, this one's a little bit more grounded in how it pulls off the action sequences. In at least one sequence, this film kind of devolves into pure John Wick worship. There's a club setting, there's pulsing music and multicolored lights as Statham is working his way through the crowd and taking out bad guys. It's not that the John Wick franchise has a monopoly on club-centered action sequences, but this one, in the technical aspects, is so clearly going for that vibe, but I don't think this one sells it nearly as well as John Wick does. The dancers are not nearly as engaged in what they're doing. The party looks pretty boring, to be honest, and the music isn't worked in nearly as well. I just didn't feel the rhythm of the scene was executed nearly as well as it is in the John Wick films, which is fine. It's just that was so clearly what this scene was going for. Unfortunately, this is one of those action movies where the allegedly highly trained bad guys love giving the protagonist a warning of their presence by like letting their first 5 shots ring off objects around Statham and his friends. And every single time I was just like, why wouldn't you take a minute to set up and make sure your first shot was your best shot before they knew you were there? But that's just how movies like this go often. The gunfire becomes kind of like wallpaper to create tension. It's not really the main attraction of the action scene. And in between these action scenes, the whole thing just deflates. Everything else about this movie feels obligatory. The relationship between the two leads just does not have any impact on me. You can still do this dynamic well, but this feels so ripped off from other movies and not inspired at all. Bill Nye's in the movie, and I feel reasonably confident that he filmed every scene he's in one working day with no more than 1 take per line read. This legendary actor is just plopped in front of a computer where he's just reacting to stuff that he's seeing on the screen and saying things like, "Damn it, Roberta," every few minutes. It's really a thankless role, and I'm not sure why he did it, but it's a complete waste of this guy's talents. I also feel like the way these scenes are sequenced really does not build tension well at all. Sometimes you'll see a character in a hotel room making a call to someone in the office, and then she'll say, "Look into this," and then in the next scene, she's in the office with the person looking at what that person was able to dig up. And it's like, clearly some time elapsed there, and since you have these parallel storylines going on, show us what happened with the other folks in between those two scenes. In a film that's taking place in a very limited amount of time like this one, every minute feels like it matters. So if there's two scenes that are immediately together that probably realistically would have had hours in between, I felt like I wanted to know, what are the other characters up to during this time? This is one of those movies where I could predict every scene, pretty much every line of dialogue. Like whenever there was a pause for tension, I was like, I know what this character is about to say. There's no mystery at all. It's just no surprises for the entire runtime, but some pretty good action scenes keep this from being a total loser. And for all of those reasons, Shelter gets a C. If you want to go to the theaters this weekend, I think Send Help is vastly superior to this one. Go check out that movie. It deserves your attention. If you're already a fan of Statham and you're an action movie junkie, you're probably going to check this one out. And I do think you can do worse, but it's just not that compelling to me. If you have seen the movie, please do let me know what you thought of it. If you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you at the movies.